faith. You guys are all a part of this family that we are with together. Everybody on this call and everybody that you impact, we're all a part of this family together. So thank you for the introduction. Very honored to be here. I still love the NAACP. I'm still a member. I'm not going nowhere. My role in the movement just shifted, and you all have an incredible director, Wisdom Oluwadunse Cole, an incredible field organizer, Derek Lewis, an incredible trainings manager, Dominique Waters, and I'm looking forward to continuing to support all of you all in all the work that we do together. One of those things that we can do together is, yes, as your president just said, there's always an opportunity for us to learn, talk, train, and those things are in a constant cycle in the movement. But it's necessary on our forms of engagement spectrum to not just do education and training all the time, but to take real action. And so most recently, I met a great, incredible brother named Garrett Galloway. Garrett Galloway is a Texas resident. He is originally from Texas, born and raised. Him and his brother, I learned about their story earlier this year, and I'm working on this campaign for his brother. Now, I don't want to share too much about his brother and what's happening. His name is Marvin. There's a documentary that I'm going to show you. The documentary is 18 minutes and 37 seconds. You can do it. It's so short. It's not an hour. It's 18 minutes. It's an important documentary. If you have a notepad and a pen or a pencil, time, and I will answer any questions that you all have and then give you all some next steps of action that you all can take, okay? So and also this documentary is on YouTube, so you can watch it on YouTube whenever you want. And then, Madam President, do you want me to share my screen or, oh, I can't share my screen, great. Do you want me to share mine or do you want to share yours?
Go for it.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Nobody in the chat has said anything.
Look,
I'm just trying to make sure. Yeah. I don't play that.
Okay, JK, I think, Tiffany, can you hear me?
Matt?
Oh, can you hear me?
In Copenhagen. No one see this? Can you not?
No, we can't hear you.
Okay,
I
thought it was my Wi-Fi.
How about now?
Okay, we can.
How about now? Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Your visual is frozen, so I think, I don't know what's happening.
It is. Hold on 1 second. Let me see something. Wi-Fi on the patio. 1 second. Whoop. How about now?
That's better.
Is that a little better? Testing. Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm going to, if you are in the chat and you're okay, I want to make sure.
I will share the video and then we'll circle back after the 18 minutes and 37 seconds. How's that sound? Okay.
That's perfect. Yes, ma'am. Go right ahead.
If you can imagine just sitting there in the silence of the night, your window being busted, you would be scared. And the first thing you're probably gonna do is reach out for your gun and try to save your family.
What I know is that a tragedy happened. There are 2 families that are hurting because of this. Marvin has lost 7 years of his son's life, his brother's lives, of his grandkids' lives. 7 years.
I moved to Maine to get a fresh start on life, to get a job and work, and to be around my family. And I did that. That was one of the most happy times that I had in my life. Met Shirley. We go to the gym every day. We went to church every Sunday. Shirley was a very sweet person. We had a good life, man, you know. I mean, everything was perfect. It was just me and Shirley against the world. Morning of the race, I was asleep, and the next thing I know, my bedroom window busted out. Thinking that my life was in danger. I fired 2 shots out the window. After that, I heard a whole lot of shots.
It's not a good practice to just bust in someone's house. It contradicts the stand your ground, the castle doctrine, able to protect your home. He had no idea that there was the police on the other side of that door.
The no-knock was based solely on the informant's accusation that Marvin was dealing cocaine. They didn't find any drugs. They didn't find what they came there looking for.
There is a lot of speculation that the round that killed that officer may not have even came from Marvin's firearm.
That is something that happens when you bust in from different directions. You've just set off a flashbang, which doesn't just affect the suspects. Everybody in that vicinity that gets that shockwave of the sound and the light is gonna affect them too. Marvin may have fired his gun, but I don't think that was the fatal shot.
They had to find a scapegoat, and that scapegoat was Marvin.
Marvin's family gave me the case file. Pretty much the whole entire newsroom knew that I was working on this case. Some of the most surprising things were that police didn't find anything. I also was very surprised by at least one police statement that seemed to indicate he stuck his pistol, his service weapon, inside Marvin's mouth when he came out the back door, so far that Marvin was throwing up.
If no drugs was found, then why is this man still locked up? He exercised his right to protect his home. I believe that you gotta hold the city accountable for what happened. They screwed up, to be frank. And I think that a lot of times people take the police word for it, and the police will lie and cover up everything. We know that. We know that from experience.
Because it was a botched raid. They did no police work. A police officer lost his life, and Marvin Guy has been detained for 7 years now with no trial. Unconstitutionally, there was nothing found. But they took the word of an informant.
But that's always a dirty business. This whole dirty business of jailhouse confessions, you cut me a deal. So I don't think they sent anyone to make a buy, check the place. They had the diagrams wrong. It could have gone smooth. They could have knocked the door open. The guy said, "Oh, I give up." But they don't. And then each mistake you make just compounds the chances that it's going to go badly?
Shirley hid in a closet and waited until the shooting stopped. And when police called, they said, come out with your hands up. She did as she was told. And as soon as she got out the door, she doesn't remember anything.
I lived right across the street. They tackled Shirley really hard. Her face hit the concrete. It was just really, it was horrible.
She woke up laying in the street. She was taken eventually to the police station where she was interrogated, and she had some trouble breathing, and so she was taken to the hospital that night. I think Marvin had every right to defend himself. Marvin felt like he was under threat that night. He felt like someone was breaking into his home, and he defended himself. When it came time for his case to go to trial and for the evidence to be presented, time and time again, that was put off until Marvin has now been sitting in jail for almost 7 years without a trial for a crime that he has not been convicted of. And to me, that is unconstitutional and it's extremely unjust.
I would almost guarantee that Henry Garza is one of the main reasons that Marvin Guy is still sitting in the Bell County Jail without having gone to trial. Henry Garza has already been in trouble for hiding exonerating evidence. He's already been in trouble for holding people in jail without a trial.
I believe Henry Garza is incompetent. I believe he has violated civil rights. And for him to allow this atrocity to drag on is just the worst, the worst thing that a person in his position can do.
When Marvin first got to jail, he had been injured during the arrest. He was in really poor shape. They were just waiting for him to die in jail. If he died in jail, he didn't have to go to trial, nobody gets convicted, but also the evidence stays buried forever.
Soon after I got the case file, the city manager and the police chief, it may have been an assistant police chief, showed up to the newspaper and demanded of the publisher that I be either fired or removed from the beat.
Claythorpe is a man of integrity that know right from wrong, and he see the wrong in this. Then the way to silence you is to go ahead and just get rid of you. And that's what they did. They ran him out of town.
I believed very strongly that I did my best to cover that case fairly and objectively. And I feel like I paid for it.
Hank McGee's case was fascinating to me from the very outset because it involved a no-knock warrant. His girlfriend, who's pregnant, is asleep on the couch, and all of a sudden they hear an explosion. Cops had thrown a flashbang, a percussion grenade, and he hears pounding on the door. No voices, nobody said, "Police, open up," nothing like that.
I mean, what is somebody supposed to do? I mean, people are breaking in the house, and I looked at Corey, and I asked her, I was like, what the fuck was that? And she looked at me. I ran to my room. I knew I had one of my firearms outside of my safe, and I grabbed it, and by the time I came back in the room, I started hearing Corey just scream. She was just screaming like bloody murder.
It was a deputy sheriff who had no real markings that could be seen. And he shot him dead.
And I remember them yelling, "It's the sheriff's department." And by then everything was too late.
What's the only difference in this case? Guy's black, McGee is white. Do we live in two Americas? The answer is yes. The exact same thing happened. But he's sitting in jail for 7 years for exercising his rights. McGee's not.
I think anyone that tells you that there's no systemic racism in Texas is delusional, or in the United States. Our criminal justice system is not fair. It has never been fair. There's something wrong, and that's wrong in the laws that we have and that we order the police to enforce these laws. I don't think policing is endangered by getting rid of no-knock warrants. Unless someone's life is in danger, I'm not quite sure what the purpose is if it's just to seize drugs.
What year did he work on?
I don't know, I think it was 2013.
Really, baby?
Thank you. Yeah. How long you been working there?
20 years.
So you was here when Marvin was here?
You remember Marvin? That was my brother.
He was the teddy bear.
He was teddy bear.
He was the teddy bear.
Yeah, everybody liked him. Did you know that was the first time that all of us was together? Since 1974. This is on my 49th birthday. Marvin had been incarcerated, I don't know how many years, but Marvin came here. His life was starting to get back together. It was good having him back in my life. You know, my mother had my youngest sister, and then 10 days later she had a heart attack and passed away, and it broke the family up, you know.
Something that our mom said that she always wants us to do is be together and be close. And when we came together in a community like that, it felt good, man, to be, you know, as a family and meeting us in our older years, you know, just getting to know each other again.
I was starting to see a happy Marvin. You know, looked like things were about to turn around for him. Everything was going good until May 9th, 2014, when the police decided to bust in his place.
Marvin feels sorrow for Dinwiddie's family, and he feels justice needs to be served not only for him, but for Dinwiddie's family too. Dinwiddie's family needs to know the truth about what happened that night.
My heart goes out to his family. He was just doing his job. A no-knock warrant is a death warrant. It could be a death warrant for the police officer. It could be a death warrant for the person that's on the other side of that door.
You got the wrong house!
Are these raids being conducted lawfully? Or was there a crime that actually happened? The only crime that happened was a violation of the Fourth Amendment by the Killeen Police Department.
They were using no-knock warrants frequently, especially for drug interdiction. Certain police officers were charged and or fired from the department for lying to investigators. There were definitely times when we certainly felt at the paper like they were acting recklessly.
That's the trouble with these no-knock warrants. A lot of people keep guns in their house, in Texas particularly, for self-defense purposes. If you don't know who is kicking open your door at 5 o'clock in the morning, you're gonna defend yourself.
OR 21-006, consider an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinance, Chapter 22, Police, to prohibit the no-knock warrants. All in favor of the motion to approve OR 21-006, please raise your right hand.
Both hands. I think the council did the right thing. They had a 6-1 vote. It's what the citizens want.
I think that it's a small step in the right direction for justice. I hope Marvin has a trial that's fair and that the public gets to see what happened that night.
Justice delayed is justice denied. And if they wanted to execute him, then let's have a trial and let him tell his story and let citizens of Bell County make that decision. And then everyone's got closure, like it or not. And that's the failure in this, that it's sitting out there. It's not right.
I think there hasn't been a trial in Marvin's case yet because there's information that will make the city clean or Bell County, Texas look bad. If you are so right, if you've got the winning case, what are you afraid of?
Just because someone has had trouble in their past doesn't make them less of a human being. They don't have less human rights just because they've been in trouble in the past. The law of self-defense is not only a statutory law, that's a human right, and it's been that way since the beginning of time. We lose sight of that.
Anyone is going to try to protect their home, and that's all he did. He protected himself. And then once the bullets start flying, that's when the police start announcing themselves. It's too late. It's too late. This no knock, it just shattered everything. It shattered everything.
I'm gonna keep fighting for the truth. Hopefully the truth will prevail in me. But it don't always happen. But I'm praying for that.
So I see that we had some new folks join. I want everybody to take a second because I know that's very heavy. I know that Marvin Guy's story is not the only story and that there's a lot to process in this moment. So I want folks to honor that feeling and take a second to drink some water. Remind yourself that you are breathing. Remind yourself. Oh, there we go. Remind you are a leader and that the nature of being a leader means that we have to fight for problems sometimes that aren't ours. And then sometimes problems find us and we have to fight those too. Honoring those feelings and then coming back to the collective so that we can remember that we're not alone when we fight. What are folks' first initial reactions to the documentary? Go ahead and share those in the chat. What was your reaction? Did you know who Marvin Guy is before you watched the documentary? What are some of the first couple of thoughts that are coming? I thought about Breonna Taylor, exactly. Thank you, Sephora. Me too. Other folks? Beautiful name, Sephora. I didn't know who he was, but I'm not surprised at the blatant disregard. I thought about what I would have done, which would have been no different. Thank you, exactly, me too. And without being cliche, I think the connection to Marvin's story is that and we think about Breonna Taylor with another no-knock warrant. I thought about Rotham John, me too. Yep. Yep. Me too. So the way that this sort of happened and came to the state conference is pretty powerful. I reached out to your president a couple of weeks before. We had a rally in Austin, Texas at the state capitol. There are two people right now that all of us, that the movement of people who are working to free Marvin Guy are talking to. The first is the district attorney, who you now seen in the film, Henry Garza. And the second is your governor. There is no excuse, no justification for why somebody should be awaiting trial for 7 years. All of us here have graduated something, met new people, been through and out of a pandemic. We've all seen multiple presidents change. We have been outside in 7 years. And Marvin, for this situation that happened on May 9th, 2014, has been sitting in jail waiting trial. That is unconstitutional, and it is racist. So what we are doing is we're bringing more attention to Marvin Guy's case, especially in Texas. You all know the politics of your state. You all know the politics of your leadership. So this is an effort to make sure that the people of Texas, the voters of Texas, the leaders and community of Texas are the ones who are fighting for Marvin Guy and his family. So what I want to share in the chat is first the documentary. I want to make sure that you all have it so that you can go back to it. There was a lot of information in there. A lot of names were dropped. Obviously, another case that was shared. So I want you to have that information so that you can go back and reference it. I'm a kinesthetic learner. I have to watch things a few times. And then you also, I'm also asking you all to share that documentary. There is a trailer on our on our YouTube page at Grassroots Law Project, which I serve as the senior advisor for. You can go and find the trailer. You can post that to your feeds on all social media platforms, along with the link to the documentary. So now you have that in the chat. Then I also want to share the petition. So let me be very clear about two things. And I might be the only person. This is not a stance by the Texas NAACP State Conference in Youth and College. This is Tiffany Dina Lofton talking. I, for one, do not agree with the death penalty at all. I think it should be abolished. There are too many people who have been executed, taken at the hands of the state, and they were innocent. The system does not work. It is doing what it was built to do. And I think we should eradicate it. I think we should get rid of it. I think we should abolish it, period. That being said, that's Tiffany Lofton's personal stance. That being said, this case, which is in limbo, and Marvin sitting in jail for 7 years, we are calling for the district attorney and for the governor to let Marvin go home tomorrow and to drop the charges, period. Detective Dinwiddie, who was killed in that crossfire of the no-knock raid, has a memorial right in front of the jail, Bell County Jail, that Marvin is sitting in. He has not had a trial. Therefore, he is not guilty. There's no due process in his experience of what he's been doing. So I wouldn't want any of us to sit in jail for 7 years without trial. Marvin should go home. If the leadership that we are demanding, if they refuse to do that, then they need to immediately have a trial. That is how we find out. That is how we make a decision. That is the process of the injustice system. All of those things are acceptable. What's not acceptable is Marvin spending today, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, November, December, January, February in jail, not prison, in jail for something that he has not been convicted of. It is unconstitutional and unacceptable. So I am asking you all to sign the petition. Since Marvin has been in jail, they have also abolished no-knock raids, which tells you how dumb of an idea that was in the first place. Also, Marvin had no drugs in the home. So this is a complete waste of time. And this officer, this detective, lost his life for no reason. The officer lost his life for no reason. So they banned no-knock warrants because they were so dangerous. Marvin is still sitting in jail, consequential to something that he has not been convicted of. Help us by signing the petition. Help us by share. Thank you, Copenhagen. Thank you. And share the petition with 5 of your friends. Now, here's what I mean by that, because I don't come to the NAACP state conference and tell y'all to share it. And that just means you post it, because I look at you all as organizers and leaders. So when I say send it to 5 people, you posting it is not sending it to 5 people. That was not the instruction. The instruction is send it to 5 people in a text message, have a conversation with somebody, tell them you just saw this film today. The film is free. You can open it. You can play it as much as you want. You can share it as many times as you want. Send this information to them and ask them to sign the petition because you care. Your influence is different from my influence. They don't follow me. I don't know them. But if you hit them up, they might just listen. So if all 15 of us did that right now for 5 other people, we can make a huge impact. Send it to your folks in Texas, have the conversation about Marvin. For every lack of conversation, Marvin spends more time in jail and he doesn't have to be there. Sign the petition, share the video. You can also, last but not least, visit our website. The petition is on the website, but just so you actually have the website itself, because we're also making phone calls, we're donating to his legal aid, we're doing a lot of things. You can find more information there. If you have questions, I'm happy to take those now, and then we'll come to a close for this session. And I thank so much the State Conference, Youth and College Division, for being bold, dynamic, for leading, for setting the example, for setting the tone that the work happens when we come together and talk about serious issues like this and take action. And we can save people's lives and improve our communities when we do this. There are other people who are too scared to do this, or other people who are too lazy to do this. You all are not. And so I will always stand with the Youth and College State Conference, especially the Youth and College Division National. And I thank you all so much for your time. I'll stick by and see if there's any questions. And other than that, I will let y'all continue in having a fabulous conference. Thank you so much, Ms. President.
Thank you. Thank you. As a token of our appreciation, you will be getting a link into your chat. And you'll get a 2021 convention box. So make sure that you fill that out. Y'all saw the excitement on her face. See? That's what I'd like to see. Okay, so you are also in the chat for everybody else. You'll get a link to our next session. We will be talking about power mapping. So that's entitled Where the Power Lies. And we have our regional national board member, Traylon Rogers, who will be presenting that information to us. So Tiffany, your link is in your chat. Everybody else, you will be getting the link to the next session. But Tiffany, just so people know, is there social media they can follow for Marvin Guy? And then how can they stay in contact with you if they have questions in the future?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for that. I totally forgot. Grassroots Law Project on Instagram. Follow all of our work there. Like I said, I am a senior advisor, Grassroots Law Project. There you go. So that's on Instagram. That's also our website. It's also our YouTube page. We're also on Facebook. We're also on Twitter, Grassroots Law Project. And then my handle, if you have any questions for me, is right here. I'm going to ask y'all to also sign the petition for 2 reasons. 1, the message goes to the district attorney, but 2, if you sign on that petition, you get on our listserv. We've already had 2 actions, 2 very big actions in 25th. We're going to be having another action in Texas. And then we're also going to have another action in November right before Thanksgiving. So if you want to be a part of that and you want to join us, I will be at both of those. Please make sure that you sign the petition and we will make sure to email you the details. If you have questions, that's my Instagram and my Twitter. And that's our account that you can find on all social media platforms. Thank you again, Madam President.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, y'all, we're going to close this session out. We will see you. You got 3 minutes to take a break. We'll see you in 3 minutes on our next link.